It's time to start your morning by taking 5. Here's your host, Matt McMaster.
You're listening to Take 5, a quick 5-minute take on the biggest things happening in Nebraska sports. I am your host, Matt McMaster, and Matt Rhule just got off the podium about an hour ago in what will be his final fall camp press conference before the beginning of the 2025 campaign, the highly anticipated 2025 campaign, which will take place this Thursday in Kansas City against the Cincinnati Bearcats. We'll touch on a couple of things, react to a couple of things. It was a 14-minute press conference. Not too many big things were talked about, but a couple here and there that I do think are important. Number one, Matt Rhule addressed the black shirts, talked about it being 10 black shirts, said they're not going to do a whole deal where there's 15, 16 different black shirts a week. It's going to be the 11 starters now. Funny enough, they handed out 10 black shirts yesterday. He addressed that. He said, look, we got one more that two guys are battling for. It's that final defensive tackle spot. It's going to be either Keona Davis or Jalen George, the transfer from East Tennessee. Funny enough, another guy who a lot of people looked at as a potential key piece to this defense, not included in the conversation, and that's Riley Van Poppel. And it's very curious to me that you have some players like Elijah Judy, like Kem Lenhart, now Keona Davis, and Jalen George, who all get black shirts, and I think a lot of people anticipated that Riley Van Poppel would be ahead of that group, would be the number one D tackle in that group. And I think it surprised a lot of people on Friday when the depth chart was released and Judy was above Riley Van Poppel. Now we're getting to the situation where he's not even, competing amongst, he's firmly behind Davis, and George could get a black shirt. And so a player that a lot of people thought would have a breakout year, a player that a lot of people thought would be a very important piece of this defensive line, and I'm not saying he's not going to be, but it's just very curious to me that Riley Van Poppel very much on the out in terms of being a defensive line starter. Very curious thing. Let's be real, we haven't heard a ton about him in camp. There hasn't been any reports or anything like that he's had a bad camp, and I think that this is more so Elijah Judy and Kem Lenhart and a lot of these other guys had taken big steps, maybe steps that we hadn't anticipated, and Riley Van Poppel, a guy that a lot of people thought would be the top dude, just isn't there right now. Who's to say that in 4 or 5 weeks in the middle of the year that the Riley Van Poppel that a lot of people think will be out in a Husker uniform this season won't be there. But to start, firmly on the out of getting a black shirt, not something that a lot of people thought would happen to begin this season. Secondly, John Bullock. He talked about he made the 53-man roster for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday. Matt Rhule talked about John Bullock, a walk-on who nearly retired from football when Matt Rhule got to Nebraska. Matt Rhule described him as a forgotten-about guy, grinded his way to becoming a starter on the defense at linebacker, and then now has grinded his way to be a special teams guy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll go as far as to say this. I think Ty Robinson is the greatest accomplishment as Matt Rhule as a coach. I think John Bullock is number 2 because he stands for everything that Matt Rhule and his program stands for and promotes. He was a defensive back. They changed his position to linebacker. They saw a lot of potential in him. They taught him how to play the linebacker position. He came back for another year to play linebacker, to be the starter like he was last season. He grinded his way to the point of being an impact player for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, gets a training camp invite from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and plays his butt off to end up making a 53-man roster. Just an incredible story, an incredible effort from John Bullock, and something that Matt Rhule and his staff, they preach. You do the things we tell you. We do the things that we try and teach you. You follow this path, good things will happen. That's exactly what John Bullock does, and now he's on an NFL roster. So that's quite the incredible story there. So also touched on real quick, kicker for Thursday will be Tyler Cunanan. He will be taking the place kicks, the field goals, and the extra points and whatnot. Tristan Alvano, John Hull still competing right now to see who will be doing the kickoffs. Rhule also touched on the team schedule. they're going to go ahead and they're going to drive down. It's a 3-hour drive to Kansas City tomorrow, kind of do a little light walk through at Arrowhead, and then it'll be a waiting game on Thursday, which he said that they'll just kind of have their breakfast, have their things. Guys will go ahead, they'll take a nap, and then they'll get ready and do their kind of wake-up exercises, which they do before every single game. So we are here, just 2 days away, 2 sleeps away from the kickoff to the 2025 season where the Nebraska Cornhuskers poised for a breakout year. I'm Matt McMaster, and that's Take 5.